Hello and very warm welcome to Amish Shakil 5858. I am Amish Shakil. Following are the English world news headlines from major American English news channels. So please let's go to the news headlines.
Tonight, we're following several developing stories. Jamaica braces for catastrophic damage from Hurricane Melissa. A major development in that shocking jewel heist in Paris, and why President Trump says he's optimistic about a trade deal with China. We begin with Hurricane Melissa bearing down on Jamaica at this hour. Already a major hurricane with winds of 145 miles an hour. The storm could dump as much as 40 inches of rain. The storm has already caused deadly flooding and landslides in Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Travelers fleeing Jamaica by air before the airports closed. Americans collecting supplies to send into the region. Our weather team on the storm's path. Arrests in a jewelry robbery at the Louvre in Paris. 2 suspects now in custody. French authorities say they were trying to leave the country. What we've learned about the evidence that sources say they possibly left behind. And where are the jewels? President Trump's high-stakes trip to Asia. He now says he's confident about striking a trade deal with China after negotiators report significant progress. The president also signing trade pacts with Cambodia and Malaysia while turning up the heat on Canada. Also tonight, the government shut down well into its 4th week. Food banks are jammed as more than 40 million Americans face a cutoff of federal food assistance by next weekend. Staffing shortages are causing long lines at airports. Top Democrats speak out on what it will take to end the standoff. A mass shooting at a college in Pennsylvania. Panic as gunfire erupted during a homecoming celebration. 1 person was killed, several others injured. Bystanders leap into action to help police rescue a baby pinned beneath a car. We're reporting on how that child is doing tonight. And we remember June Lockhart, the beloved TV mom who started hit shows in the 1950s, 60s, and beyond. And America strong tonight after enduring so much. Baby Oakley gets home for the first time.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on this Sunday. I'm Lindsay Davis. There was major development. Bear Grylls, man versus wild. We all know him as the survivalist and TV star who will do and eat whatever it takes on his worldwide adventures. But he's also a military veteran, a husband, a father, and a man of faith. And he's continuing to push the envelope. So when he reached out about his newest journey, we knew we wanted to find out more. What else can you do with Bear Grylls but head to the great outdoors? Bear Grylls, I am so excited to be here with you. I'm such a big fan of yours. All you've done, you are, like a survival expert, an outdoorsman, an adventurist. I'm so curious, from your perspective, we live in such an age of technology. What do you make of that? And would you like to see more people out in nature?
For me, the outdoors has always been such a beautiful, healing, grounding place. For me, that's where I go, is to reconnect. And I think even when we all live busy lives, it's not like a busy life is bad. A busy life is great, but it's just finding time in your busy life, whether it's with a friend like this to take a walk in somewhere beautiful. I suppose what I'm saying, you don't need to go to the ends of the earth to do that. It's just, I try and start the day always outside, even if I'm in the city. Get outside, I try and get barefoot, which isn't always so easy in the city, but certainly at home.
What's on the ground in the city sometimes.
So maybe a little more careful on that one. But I know, outside, sun on the face, which is so good. I think everyone's scared of the sun now. It's sun is good, especially morning sun.
Yes.
So, and then try and just be disciplined about your time on your screen. It's not that it's bad, but try and maybe just police yourself a little bit is what I always say to our boys. You got to be your own policeman in life.
Right. Well, you have done some incredible things. You've climbed Mount Everest. You have sailed across the North Sea. You've been to Antarctica. What is one adventure that sticks out in your mind that either scared you the most or that you still look back on and you're like, wow, I can't believe I did that?
Well, I think I think my time with the Special Forces in the UK was kind of unique and such a formative time for me, I think, at a young age. And I spent 5 years with the British SAS, and those friendships and those skills have lasted a lifetime. I think Everest is always going to be in my heart because, I mean, we had 4 climbers lose their lives up there. 2 died of the cold, 2 fell. And I think that mountain shaped so much of the future of my life. You know, it was through that then the Discovery Channel eventually approached me, and we started Man vs. Wild, and that grew into Running Wild and all these shows. But I think that was such a formative time. But I don't know, for me it's the simple stuff as well.
Yeah.
You know, I get to take my family out on adventures. We live in quite a wild part of the UK in Wales on a little island off-grid, no mains electricity, no mains water.
Oh, wow.
They've been brought up so much of their life there. You know, as we said, it doesn't have to be the highest mountain in the world. It's how you live, how you approach risk and relationships. Be the highest mountain in the world. It's how you live, how you approach risk and relationships and family and business and everything.
Did you ever think about having just a normal 9 to 5?
I think I'd be hopeless. I've burnt so many bridges in my life. I have no other option apart from doing what I do. And I kind of like that. You know, my late dad always used to say,
Tonight, the explosive hurricane that could wreck parts of the Caribbean, with Hurricane Melissa now a monster Category 4 storm and still intensifying, taking direct aim at Jamaica, where they're bracing for 2 feet of rain and catastrophic flooding. The storm's newest track just into us, and where it could make a second landfall. A potentially pivotal moment in the trade war, with the U.S. and China closing in on a new deal as President Trump arrives in Asia for a key meeting with China's leader. Millions of Americans set to feel serious strain from the government shutdown this week. The benefits set to run out of money in just days, and the latest delays at airports coast to coast. Miracle rescue caught on camera. Heroes jumping in to save a baby trapped under an overturned car. The game-changing experience on the way for football fans.
It's like you're actually there, like you're at the game.
The new technology changing how you watch your favorite team. And there is good news tonight about the slumber party years in the making.
This is NBC Nightly News with Hallie Jackson.
Good evening. We are coming on the air tonight with the rare megastorm muscling its way through the Caribbean, with Hurricane Melissa expected to become a Category 5 in a matter of hours, already dangerous and turning deadly, with 4 people.
Technological advances and the struggle many men face maintaining deep male friendships later in life. I had always seen myself as a hypersocial person, somebody with tons of friends when I was a younger man. How did I get to the point where in my 30s and 40s, I was spending, most weekend nights in my house, not going out, not seeing friends? Major funding. On this Sunday night, trade turmoil. The Prime Minister pitches new alliances in Asia after President Trump terminated talks and raised tariffs.
this is interference in U.S. sovereign matters.
The latest fallout from Ontario's anti-tariff ad campaign. French police arrest suspects accused of looting the Louvre. But have they recovered the crown jewels? Teacher strike showdown. The Alberta Premier's plan to force educators back to school. Plus, swing and a miss. It's baseball, and you gotta kind of react in real time. The Blue Jays look to bounce back in Game 3. Global National. Reporting tonight, Jeff Semple. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Prime Minister Mark Carney is trying to reassure Canadians after U.S. President Donald Trump threatened to raise tariffs on Canada by another 10%. Speaking at the ASEAN Leaders Summit in Malaysia, Carney said he is ready to resume trade talks with the U.S. while also focusing on expanding trade ties across Asia. As Mackenzie Gray reports, the Prime Minister also appeared to send a message to Ontario's Premier.
when someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports.
Still mad about the Ontario government app that's been running during the World Series that, despite Trump's protests, accurately quotes Ronald Reagan's hatred of tariffs. Because of their serious misrepresentation of the facts and hostile act, the president said, I'm increasing the tariff on Canada by 10% over and above what they're paying now.
The Premier of Ontario seems to have come off the rails a little. He has taken the ad down. But what's the purpose of that other than to try to sway U.S. public opinion?
Mark Carney not mentioning the new tariff threat when he gave a statement to reporters, instead repeating what he said after Trump ended trade talks on Thursday.
The government of Canada stands ready to build on the progress that we have been making in our negotiations and discussions with our American counterparts.
What a new 10% tariff increase actually looks like isn't clear. The White House is not giving Global News or the Canadian government any details of what goods are impacted and when the new tariff could come into force. Despite Carney and Trump both being special guests at the ASEAN Summit of Southeastern Asian countries, the pair haven't met yet or even spoken since trade talks were called off, thanks to Doug Ford's ad, which the Prime Minister took a subtle jab at.
It is the sole responsibility of the government of Canada to have those discussions with the United States, and it's the best way forward.
Carney met with the Filipino, Laotian, and Vietnamese leaders as Canada tries to negotiate a free trade deal with the South Asian bloc, in a bid to try and diversify Canadian trade after Trump's latest outburst.
In fact, we have free trade agreements with 15 jurisdictions around the world, two-thirds of global trade. Now, some of those free trade agreements operate a little more predictably than others. No prize for guessing which ones.
Carney didn't take any questions from reporters about the potential 10% tariff, but he is expected to have a press conference on Monday during his final day in Malaysia, Jeff, before carrying on to his second Asian stop, Singapore.
All right, Mackenzie Gray in Kuala Lumpur. Thanks, Mac. In other news from the ASEAN Summit, American and Chinese officials say they're close to striking a trade deal between the world's two largest economies. They've agreed on a framework ahead of a meeting between President Trump and his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping set for Thursday in South Korea. The agreement covers tariffs, agriculture.
A big break in the brazen heist at Louvre. Suspects arrested over the daylight theft of crown jewels.
I'm Holly Williams, outside the Louvre Museum in Paris, where there's been a breakthrough in the hunt for the perpetrators of a daring jewelry heist.
Also tonight, monster storm. Hurricane Melissa powers up.
I'm Jason Allen in Kingston, where people are using even the shortest breaks in the rain right now to prepare their homes for the hurricane-strength winds that are on their way.
140-mile-per-hour winds, 3 feet of rain, and deadly storm surge. I'm meteorologist Andrew Kozak with the very latest on Melissa and its track.
President Trump in Asia dancing and deal-making.
I'm Ouija Jane, traveling with President Trump in Kuala Lumpur, where trade talks are the talk of the town.
Well, this anti-tariff ad from Canada turns into an international incident.
The Premier of Ontario seems to have come off the rails a little.
Rare beef, why ranchers are frustrated with the president's plan to lower record high prices.
I'm Lana Zach in Toledo, Iowa, with the new stew that's brewing in cattle country over imports from Argentina.
All that, plus a national park gets wild, with federal workers furloughed.
I'm Carter Evans at Yosemite National Park, where some adventurers are taking advantage of the government shutdown to break the law.
This is the CBS Weekend News from New York with Jerika Duncan.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this Sunday. We begin with a life-threatening hurricane churning in the Caribbean Sea and violent weather right here in the United States.
This is Goutier, Mississippi, along the Gulf Coast, where a tornado surprised this driver in a parking lot today. Severe thunderstorms also pummeled Louisiana. This video from a suburb of New Orleans. And here is Hurricane Melissa. Seen from the International Space Station, it is intensifying rapidly and could be the strongest storm ever to hit Jamaica. CBS's Jason Allen is in Kingston, the capital, tonight, and leads us off.
The wind is really starting to gust now along the shoreline here in Kingston. The rain has been falling in heavy bands on and off, and the waterways, the channels that carry runoff out of the mountains are starting to run faster now. We saw the waves beginning to build in the fishing villages along the shoreline today. The fishermen pulled their boats up out of the water, parking them across the road. In flood-prone sections of the city, people shoveled dirt out of broken roads to fill sandbags, and during breaks in the rain, we saw some of them climbing onto rooftops to
Hello and a very good morning to you. This is Sky News. These are your latest headlines. Back in prison, the Epping sex offender is once again behind bars. Sky News understands Hadush Kavatu will be deported tomorrow. The Justice Secretary confirms eyewitness testimony of the moments after his relief, which was shown on Sky News, will form part of an independent inquiry. That's as the family of the girl Kavatu sexually assaulted expressed their fury at his accidental release.
The police, the justice system, and our Labour government.
Thank you for watching Amish Shakil 5858. I am Amish Shakil. I hope you will visit again. Have a good life. Bye-bye.